A wild slugfest in Baltimore stole the show as the Cubs and Orioles combined for 7 home runs, while the Angels put up 13 runs in a Texas rout. The Blue Jays completely shut down the Giants' offense in a 10-0 road win. Dylan was dominant, striking out 11 over 8.0 innings without the win, and his lone bunch for start allowed Toronto's ends to do all the damage it needed. George Springer, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Kazuma Okamoto each went deep to power the lopsided score, and Dalton Varsho added a stolen base to round out the Toronto attack. San Francisco's lineup managed almost nothing against Cease, with Heliot Ramos providing the only real bright spot by picking up a hit in an otherwise miserable night at the plate for the Giants. Casey Schmidt, Rafael Devers, Willie Adams, Luis Ariz, and the rest of the San Francisco order were held without a hit as the Giants dropped a game that was effectively over by the middle innings. It was this one was a slugfest from start to finish, with the Cubs escaping Baltimore 9-7 in a game that saw 7 combined home runs. Tyler O'Neill led the Orioles with a 2-homer night, adding to blasts from Pete Alonso and Kobe Mayo, while Jackson Holliday put together a perfect 4-for-4 day at the plate for Baltimore, a line that stands out even in a loss and one of the top fantasy performances of the day. But Chicago matched Baltimore blow for blow. Pete Crow Armstrong went deep twice himself, and Michael Conforto, Carson Kelly, and Seiya Suzuki all added home runs of their own to power the Cubs' offense. Colin Rea worked into the 6th to pick up the win despite allowing 3 earned runs, and Jacob Webb slammed the door with a 1-inning save to seal it. Nico Horner chipped in a stolen base, with O'Neill and Crow Armstrong both going deep twice and Holliday going 4-for-4. This game produced 3 of the day's biggest fantasy lines and was easily the most statistically loaded contest on the schedule. The Tigers cruised to a 6-1 win behind a dominant start from Troy Melton, who struck out 9 over 5.1 innings while allowing 0 earned runs to earn the victory. Spencer Torkelson and Jake Rogers both homered to give Detroit all the offensive support it needed, and the Tigers never let the Athletics' offense find any rhythm. Oakland's best individual effort came from Joshua Kuroda, who went 3-for-4 but couldn't turn his hits into runs as the rest of the lineup, including Nick Kurtz, Jacob Wilson, and Shea Langeliers, was held without a hit. Detroit's win was built on the strength of Melton's near-flawless outing and just enough power at the plate, making for a comfortable 5-run margin by the final out. Atlanta shut out Pittsburgh 3-0 behind a strong start from the Pirates' own Jared Jones, who struck out 8 over 6 innings despite taking the loss, as the Braves' offense and bullpen did just enough to get the job done. Joey Bart's home run provided the difference-making power for Atlanta, and Dylan Dodd picked up the win with a scoreless inning of relief before Raisel Iglesias closed it out with a 1-inning save. Ryan Reynolds swiped the bag for Pittsburgh, but the Pirates' offense could never solve Atlanta's pitching staff, with Jared Triolo, Henry Davis, and Nick Gonzalez all coming up empty at the plate. It was a low-scoring, pitching-driven affair that Atlanta controlled from the outset and never let slip away. Miami squeaked out a 2-0 win over Seattle in a tightly pitched contest. Kyle Stowers provided the only power either team would need, going deep to give the Marlins their scoring for the night, and Tyler Phillips backed it up with 5 shutout innings and 3 strikeouts to earn the win. Pete Fairbanks slammed the door with a 1-inning save to lock down the shutout. Seattle's Josh Naylor stole at base but was one of the few Mariners to find any success, as Victor Robles, Randy Arozarena, and Colt Emerson were all held hitless in a quiet offensive night. It was a crisp, well-pitched game that Miami controlled thanks to Stowers' power and a stingy pitching staff that never let Seattle's lineup get comfortable. The Rays blanked the Yankees 3-0 behind a stellar outing from Shane McClanahan, who went 6.1 shutout innings with 5 strikeouts to earn the win, and Brian Baker closed it out with a scoreless inning for the save. Yandy Diaz had the standout offensive night for Tampa Bay, going a perfect 4-for-4, and Chandler Simpson added a stolen base. New York's offense simply couldn't get anything going against McClanahan, with Paul Goldschmidt, Austin Wells, Cody Bellinger, and Trent Grisham all held hitless. Washington rolled to an 8-2 win behind a huge night from Luis Garcia Jr., who went 3-for-4 with 3 RBIs and a home run, while C.J. Abrams also went deep to power the Nationals' offense. Foster Griffin was outstanding on the mound, striking out 9 over 7 innings to earn the win, and Washington ran wild on the bases with steals from James Wood, Garcia, and Houston's Bryce Matthews. Houston's lineup got hits from Isaac Paredes, Nick Allen, Christian Walker, and Yainer Diaz, but couldn't keep pace with Washington's power and pitching combination. With Garcia's big multi-hit, multi-RBI night in Griffin's strong start, the Nationals controlled this game from wire to wire in a lopsided divisional-style win. The Mets held off Kansas City for a 6-2 win, getting a home run from A.J. Ewing to help power the offense. Brooks Raley picked up the win with a scoreless inning of relief. New York got contributions up and down the lineup, with Bo Bichette, Francisco Alvarez, Brett Beatty, Carson Bench, Francisco Lindor, and Jorge Polanco all recording hits. Kansas City's Bobby Witt Jr., Jack Caglianon, and Salvador Perez each had hits of their own, but the Royals couldn't overcome New York's balanced offensive attack. It was a solid, if unspectacular, team win for the Mets, powered by depth in the batting order rather than one standout performance. Cincinnati outslugged Philadelphia 11-5 in a power-packed win at home. Sal Stewart put on a show with 2 home runs, a performance that stands out as one of the day's premier fantasy lines, while Ellie De La Cruz, Noelvi Marte, and J.J. Bleday also went deep for the Reds. Chase Burns worked 5 innings, allowing 3 earned runs, to pick up the win despite the shaky line. Philadelphia didn't go quietly, getting home runs from JT Realmuto and Kyle Schwarber, and Justin Crawford added a stolen base, but the Phillies' pitching staff simply couldn't contain Cincinnati's offense. With 4 home runs, including Stewart's 2-homer explosion, the Reds' bats were the story of this one from the first inning on. Minnesota edged out Cleveland 6-5 in a back-and-forth affair. Cody Clemens led the Twins with a 3-for-4, 1 RBI night, and Yoendrys Gomez picked up the win with a scoreless inning of relief to help Minnesota hang on. Cleveland battled back behind home runs from Brayan Rocchio and Rhys Hoskins, and Kyle Watson chipped in a stolen base, but it wasn't quite enough as the Guardians fell just short. Both lineups were active throughout, with Minnesota getting hits from Victor Caratini, Brooks Lee, Josh Bell, and Alan Rodin, while Cleveland countered with Stephen Kwan and chased a lot of reaching base as well. In the end, Clemens' multi-hit game and a clutch bullpen inning were enough to hold off Cleveland's power surge. Boston blanked the White Sox 5-0 behind a dominant start from Jake Bennett, who went 7 shutout innings with 4 strikeouts to earn the win. Caleb Durbin added a stolen base for the Red Sox as part of a balanced offensive effort that saw Romy Gonzalez, Wilyer Abreu, Carlos Narvaez, Sun-Chi Chang, Seth and Rafaela, and Masataka Yoshida all pick up hits. Chicago's offense never found any traction against Bennett, with Randall Grichuk, Kyle Teel, Colson Montgomery, and Miguel Vargas all held hitless in the shutout loss. It was a clean, efficient win for Boston built almost entirely around a dominant starting pitching performance. Louis took care of business at home, beating Milwaukee 5-1 behind home runs from Jose Furman and Alec Burleson. Michael McGreevy turned in a strong outing, going 6.1 innings and allowing just 1 earned run while striking out 6 to earn the win, and Jordan Walker added a stolen base to the Cardinals' effort. Milwaukee's offense managed hits from Cooper Pratt, Joey Ortiz, Christian Yelich, Garrett Mitchell, and Luis Lara, but could never generate enough traction to threaten St. Louis. With 2 long balls and a quality start from McGreevy, the Cardinals controlled this one throughout and cruised to a comfortable 4-run win. The Angels blew this one open, routing Texas 13-1 on the road. Joe Adell crushed 2 home runs, one of the day's top fantasy performances, and Mike Trout also went deep as part of a relentless Angels attack. Vaughn Grissom was sensational, going 4-for-5 with 4 RBIs, and Zach Neto added a 3-for-5 night of his own. Sammy Natara Jr. earned the win by striking out 5 over 2 scoreless innings out of the bullpen. Texas' lone bright spot was a Kyle Higashioka home run, while Evan Carter and Jock Pederson each stole a base, but nothing could slow down Los Angeles' offensive onslaught. Between Adell's 2 homers and Grissom's 4 RBI day, this was one of the most complete offensive performances of the night for any team. The Dodgers held on for a tight 4-3 win over Colorado at home. Edgardo Henriquez picked up the win with just 0.1 innings of scoreless relief, and Tanner Scott closed it out with a 1-inning save to secure the narrow margin. Colorado stayed competitive thanks to home runs from Edouard Julien and Kyle Carros, keeping the Rockies within striking distance until the final out. Los Angeles got hits from Kyle Tucker, Max Muncy, Freddie Freeman, Tommy Edman, and Mookie Betts, spreading the offense around rather than relying on one big performance. It was a nail-biter in front of a packed house, decided by bullpen execution as much as anything else, with the Dodgers' relief corps closing the door on a resilient Colorado club. San Diego blew past Arizona 10-4 behind a huge night from Miguel Andujar, who went 3-for-4 with 2 RBIs, and a home run from Luis Campusano. Michael King was excellent on the mound, working 6 innings and allowing just 1 earned run while striking out 4 to pick up the win. Fernando Tatis Jr. was a menace on the bases, swiping 2 bags, one of the day's top fantasy performances, while some unsung added a steal of his own. Arizona got a strong effort from Nolan Arenado, who also went 3 for 4, along with a home run from Tommy Troy and a stolen base from Eldemiro Vargas, but it wasn't enough to keep pace with San Diego's balanced attack. With King's quality start and Tatis' 2-steal night, the Padres controlled this game from top to bottom. It was a quiet day on the streak front. No ongoing hit streaks or extended team win/loss streaks were flagged among today's games. Keep an eye on tomorrow's slate as several clubs, including the surging Dodgers and Padres, look to build fresh momentum after strong wins tonight. Fantasy managers had plenty to work with out of the wild Cubs-Orioles slugfest, where Tyler O'Neill and Pete Crow Armstrong each launched 2 home runs and Jackson Holliday went a perfect 4 for 4. Elsewhere, Sal Stewart matched that 2-homer output in Cincinnati's blowout win, and Joe Adell went deep twice in the Angels' 13-run explosion in Texas. On the base-stealing side, Fernando Tatis Jr. swiped 2 bags in San Diego's Rout of Arizona, making him a streaming option worth watching for speed-needy fantasy rosters. That's a wrap on today's action around the majors. Hit subscribe so you never miss a recap of the day's biggest MLB moments.